Hey everybody, Ted Forbes here from The Art of Photography. I'm going to do another vlog post today, and I want to talk about where I am on this trip to New York that's coming up. And some of you have asked me some questions about it, and somebody asked the other day if I'm going to be showing behind the scenes video of the actual shoot, and the answer is yes, I am. In fact, I've rented a little GoPro camera, so hopefully I'll be able to mount that on top of my camera, and we'll be able to get some behind the scenes of the actual photo shoot as well. So you guys can kind of see what goes into this and what all is involved. For today though, I want to talk to you about, if you're not familiar, if you haven't watched the last couple of shows and know what I'm doing, basically I've been asked to go up to New York, and the job is I'm going to be doing a still session and a video interview with an artist whose name is Jim Hodges. Jim is an amazing artist. I've interviewed him twice before, and he's kind of a hot item right now and in the art world. He's very big and he does wonderful work. His work is really exciting, and that makes the job a lot of fun for me because it's something I'm really excited about doing. And like I said, I've met Jim before and he's a really nice guy. So that's who we're working with. I'm going to be going up to New York with the museum curator of contemporary art and their education director, who is going to be dealing with a lot of helping with the interview, stuff like that. And I think this is going to be a whole ton of fun. And so what we've been doing the last 2 weeks is we've had a lot of meetings with the marketing department, and we're trying to figure out what all we need in the end as far as stills go and as far as video goes. One of the things that they're going to be doing this as far as usage goes is they're going to be doing smartphone tours for the actual exhibition, which will be at the museum in November, I believe. And so you'll get to see the artist talking about the piece you're in front of. And the other thing we're going to be using this for is they're going to do some online advertising. I don't think it's finalized, but it'll be things, probably Pandora, probably Hulu, stuff like that. So we're going to do some 15 and 30-second ad spots for those too. So it's going to be really, really cool, and I'm really excited about it. So what we've done is we've gone through, we've done our shot lists. We've covered all the pieces that we want to do. And I think from an artistic perspective, personally, and I've been harping on this, is I don't want to plan this down to the bone to where it becomes very cold and stale feeling, particularly the video stuff. I want it to flow, I want it to be natural. I think we need to just be able to capture Jim's personality and get him talking about what makes him tick as an artist. And I think that's really about the best you can do. And so anyway, so that's kind of what we're doing, but the shot list does serve so you don't get back to Dallas and realize that there's 2 pieces in the show that you never got him to talk about. So we've at least detailed it down to that. I mentioned in the last show that I wanted to be doing 35mm for the still stuff because I wanted a film look to it. I'm not sure that's going to be possible, and the main thing that concerns me is I was talking to the marketing people, and one of the things that is a possibility is if we can get some nice studio portraits, is they want to use one of those to blow up really big to put on the side of the museum on a big banner when the show's on. And I'm afraid that if I do 35mm and we decide to go that route, there's going to be issues with enlargement on it because 35mm is pretty lo-fi. I probably could do medium format, but the camera's bigger, so I think just in the interest of time, efficiency of space and what I'm packing, the best idea is just to use the Canon 5D Mark III and call it a day. I'll get an image that's big enough and they can deal with it, and I won't have to deal with film scanning or any of that. So that's an unfortunate thing. We'll see. I may throw a 35mm camera in the bag if there's room. And anyway, as far as equipment goes too, the other thing is I have never been to his studio before. When I've interviewed him before, it's been in Dallas, and so I have no idea what we're dealing with. So he's got 3 assistants at the studio. I sent them an email and said, hey, can you guys get some iPhone pictures just so I can see the space? They did that, sent them to me, huge help. So now I know what I'm dealing with. He's got a beautiful studio in Manhattan, and there's a bunch of windows on one side, then it makes an L shape around. There's art on this wall. We'll probably do the video interviews there. But then there's tungsten light, which you're probably going to get mixed with daylight. So what I've decided to do on this is Adorama in New York does rentals, and I decided to go ahead and rent my lights and my C-stands and tripods, anything that I don't necessarily need to deal with a whole bunch that's just going to serve a static purpose. I went ahead and rented. They have a messenger service, so they'll deliver those to the studio on Monday morning before we get going, and so that'll help immensely. Plus, I do not have an assistant on this shoot, which is, well, it's crazy, but that's just how it is. And so I'm going to need to be very familiar with stuff. So like cameras and stuff, I'm going to be using my own stuff, and I'll pack those and take them. I've got a bag for that. But packing and taking lights is very difficult. And I'm not going to be dealing with strobes on this at all. He's got enough natural lights, so I think we'll get some great still photos, and we'll just work with what we've got on that. So the lights that I do have, though, are continuous lights. And what I've done is I've rented, there's a company called Light Panels that makes these 1 foot square. They call them 1x1s. and they're filled with LED banks, and they're dimmable, which is nice, and also they're what they call bicolor. So some of the LEDs are tungsten balanced, some of the LEDs are daylight balanced, and there's actually a dial where you can dial in the exact color temperature and mix of the two to get what it is you're trying to match. So I think those are going to be the most versatile, and like I said, I don't need to necessarily have my own on that, so I've rented those and I'm going to bring them over. I've rented 3 of them, so we'll be able to get a nice 3-point light set up for the interview stuff, and hopefully that'll provide enough flexibility to do what we're trying to do. As far as what I'm going to bring, definitely the Canon 5D, like I mentioned, because it'll do video and still, and I'll probably use that when we walk around and we're looking at various pieces that are set up in the studio. They've actually got 2 studios, so we're going to go on location, and I'll probably take that for that. And I have a Sony Fs100 that's a video camera that I'm going to be using for the bulk of the interview footage. Now, you guys have heard me talk a lot about these little Sony Nex cameras. I've talked about the 7, and I've got a 5 also. I wish that were all I had to take, because I think they're actually good enough to do it in terms of image quality. And how cool would it be just to have a little tiny bag, rent your lights, show up, put up some tripods, and be done. The problem with the Sony Nex cameras is that they have CMOS sensors in them, and because of the size and the design of the camera, they get hot, and after about 6 or 7 minutes of filming, you can have overheating issues with the sensor, and if that's the case, the camera shuts down. And so not ideal for shooting an interview yet. It'll be another couple years before they get, well, hopefully maybe even sooner, before they get the design worked out to where that's a possibility. And so, wow, wouldn't that be amazing to take those? I think they're good enough to do it, and I really wish I could just take a couple Sony little mirrorless cameras and call it a day, because it would be just amazing. I wouldn't have to haul anything. As you could probably tell, because I don't have an assistant and I'm relying on a courier service to bring equipment over, that I'm a little nervous about it. So it'll go fine. We'll have about an hour and a half of setup, and then we're going to get cooking for the next 2 days. And so we'll be doing, you know, casual video interviews, some conversation with the curator. We'll probably go and look around at some art. I'm going to do all the behind the scenes stuff. I also didn't talk about audio. To bring in my cameras, I'm also bringing my own audio stuff. I've got 2 wired lavalier mics, so I use a lav when I do this show. So I've got 2 of those, and they go into a little Marantz recorder, and so I'll have the curator on one channel, I'll have the artist on the other. It'll just stay on and record pretty much the whole time, and I've got enough CF cards and SD cards to handle everything on this. So it's gonna be pretty cool. I don't anticipate much in the way of trouble on this. I think it's a minimal enough setup, but it's still a lot of stuff to bring, and that's just how it is when you have video that's introduced into the mix. So anyway, we'll be able to use the studio lights if I do need lighting for the stills, but I'm just not going to deal with strobes on this. So anyway, so I'll be packing 1 bag with my cameras and audio equipment in it, and that will go on the plane with me, carry on, and then I'll probably have a second bag with my clothes, and I'll check that. So that's probably about the least amount of gear I can get away with on this. So we'll just kind of see how that rolls. Anyway, like I said, I figured you guys would be interested in this. I'm going to do some behind the scenes filming. Depending on internet access while I'm in New York, I may not be able to upload those during the time that I'm there. I may have to edit them and then upload them when I get home. So it could be a week before you see anything. But I'll be doing some tweeting and stuff like that. So follow me on Twitter. My handle is Ted Forbes on Twitter. So twitter.com/Ted Forbes. You can follow me there. And I'm pretty excited. This is going to be cool. And we are having the Art of Photography meetup, and that is on Sunday, the July 7th, 2013. At 11 a.m. We're going to meet up at B&H. So if you're in the neighborhood, want to come say hi, we'll probably screw around, do the High Line, eat some food. I don't know, maybe Central Park came up as a suggestion. So we'll figure it out. We'll have a good time, and you guys can come just meet and greet and hang out, and I'd love to meet you guys as well. So I think it would be a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm going to get packing because I got a lot of stuff to do, and I got to make sure my episode's ready for Sunday because I won't be here. It needs to be in the can early. So anyway, guys, once again, it's been the Art of Photography, and thank you for watching. I'll see ya.